Hello and welcome back to Naked Expat channel. Today I'd like to talk about the fact that you've only got one body and one mind. When you become an expat, you really do have to take care of them both. So let's just take this scenario that you've actually done it. After decades of grinding, saving and planning, you're on the home stretch. You've researched the sunniest countries with the lowest cost of living, and you've run the numbers of your pension, your 401k and your social security. You'll probably dabble in maybe in a new language and have a little perfect town or beach resort picked out. And maybe you've even booked a reconnaissance trip. You've prepared your money, your logistics and your dreams for a brand new life. But what if I told you that the single biggest threat to that dream has nothing to do with your bank account? What if the one asset that you've paid the least attention to is the one that truly matters? Retiring abroad isn't some permanent vacation, it's an endurance event. It's the ultimate test for the one mind and one body that you've been given. The unique pressures of expat life, the stress, the isolation, the consistent need to adapt can and will wear you down. And if you aren't ready for it, that beautiful dream can crumble into a nightmare of anxiety and poor health. In this video, I'm going to give you the real deal to fortifying your physical and mental health against the specific stressors of becoming an expat. This isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. It's about making sure your golden years are actually golden. So, if you want to bulletproof your health for the ultimate adventure, you are definitely in the right place. I'd like to break this video down into 4 sections, with the first one being the real problem, the unforeseen cracks in your dream. We've all seen the fantasy, it's plastered all over social media and retirement magazines. Waking up to the sound of waves in Portugal, grabbing a cheap beer in Thailand, or finding your tribe of smiling happy expats in a sun-drenched Mexican plaza. The promise is a better quality of life for less money, and for many people that promise does absolutely come true. But there's a side to this story that they don't put in the brochures. Moving to a new country, especially in your latter years, is one of the most intense stressors you can put your whole system through. It's a life quake that shakes up every single part of your world, and most folks are totally unprepared for their aftershocks. Let's talk about the physical stuff first. Your body, which has been chugging along in one environment for 60 plus years, is suddenly dropped into a completely new one. The climate's different, which can mess with everything from heart conditions to arthritis. The food is different, delicious for sure. But new oils, spices and new temptations can throw your whole system out of whack. And you're being introduced to a whole new world of bugs and bacteria that your immune system has never had to fight before. Even your daily routine changes. You might be walking more than ever, which is fantastic, but this can also lead to aches and pains you weren't expecting. Or you might find the tropical heat and a more laid-back vibe make you more sedentary than you were back home. And that permanent vacation mindset is a death trap. It's a daily cocktail of richer foods and afternoon siestas that can slowly chip away at your health without you even realizing it. But for many, the physical toll is nothing compared to the mental and social one. This is the unforeseen iceberg that sinks so many retirement dreams. We talk about culture shock like it's some kind of cute thing that happens to college kids on a semester break. The truth is, it hits retirees even harder. Think about the sheer mental effort of your first few months. Every simple task that used to be automatic, like going to the grocery store, is now a puzzle. Setting up bank accounts or paying utility bills can feel like a bureaucratic nightmare, specifically designed to break your will. You are in so many ways a rookie at life all over again. This constant low-level stress can lead to a kind of chronic exhaustion that many mistake for a personal failure. And then there's the silence, the deep, deafening silence that creeps in after the initial thrill of your move phase. You've left behind a lifetime of social support, your friends, your family, your old co-workers and your neighbours, the barista in Starbucks that knew your coffee order. That entire web of connection is just gone. Recent studies show that retirees who move abroad are at much greater risk of loneliness than those who stay put. Researchers have pointed out that there are two kinds of loneliness: emotional loneliness, which is the lack of a close partner, and social loneliness, lacking of a wider community. Whilst most retirees move with a spouse, which protects them from the first kind, they are widely open to social loneliness. This isn't just about feeling sad, it's a serious health risk. Social isolation is linked to a higher risk of everything, from high blood pressure and heart disease to depression, cognitive decline, and even earlier death. The US Surgeon General even stated that the health impact of being socially disconnected is similar to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. And if you watch one of my previous videos about the places in the world where people live the longest and they were the happiest, there were low stress levels, and the thing that bonded them all together, save for a whole food diet and not eating highly processed and processed food, was social connection. It is so important, especially in retirement. So as you see, the dream has cracks in the foundation if you don't get this right. Cracks formed by the slow burn of physical wear and tear and sudden shocks of mental and social strain. If you ignore them, these cracks can get wider and wider until the whole thing comes crashing down. Now, the second part I'd like to talk about is when your expat dream turns into a nightmare. Let's make this real for you. Let me paint a picture of what this looks like when it goes wrong, because I've seen it happen many times. Now, this happened to some clients of mine. They did everything right on paper. They sold their house in the UK at a great price. Their pensions were solid, and they bought a gorgeous villa with a pool in Portugal's Algarve. The first 3 months were heaven. They explored the coast, had long lunches with bottomless glasses of vino, and posted stunning sunset pictures that made everyone back home jealous. But under the surface, the cracks were starting to show. Robert had always managed his slightly high blood pressure with medication when he was back in the UK. In Portugal, that routine was gone. The diet was different: more bread, more cured meats, and way more salt. The stress of getting their residency permits and navigating the bureaucracy in Portuguese that they barely spoke was a constant pressure cooker. Now, he started waking up with dull headaches and feeling tired all the time, but he just brushed it off as adjusting to Portugal. One afternoon, he was out in the garden and felt a crushing pain in his chest, and his Mrs. Susan, panicking, called the emergency number 112. Now, thankfully, she didn't call 999, which was a UK number, because they'd learnt it. But when the paramedics arrived, the language barrier became a wall of terror. She couldn't explain his medical history or the name of his pills. At the local hospital, she felt completely terrifyingly alone. Robert survived, but the dream was shattered. Their beautiful villa now felt like a gilded cage, a remote prison of anxiety, far from the comfort of their lifelong doctor and a system they knew how to navigate. The fear of it happening again poisoned every single day. Within a year, they were both back in the UK with their dream of being expats completely shattered, and a lot of their savings were gone. Another client of mine retired to Mexico, and she was an art teacher full of life and energy. She was divorced and saw retirement as her grand solo adventure. The colours, the music, the bustling markets, and she was all for it. But Linda completely misunderstood the power of loneliness. Her first few months were a whirlwind of logistics. But once she was settled into a beautiful little new place, the silence became overwhelming. Her Spanish was coming along slowly, so deep conversations with locals felt like miles away. She joined a few expat Facebook groups, but the meetups felt very cliquey, full of people who had been friends for years. She started spending more and more time inside, just scrolling through photos of her grandkids and watching UK news on the BBC. The vibrant world right outside her window started to feel like a movie she wasn't part of. Surrounded by life, she had just never felt more alone. Her motivation started to evaporate. She soon stopped going to her art classes, and simple errands felt like climbing a mountain. She slid into deep depression, proving that even the most beautiful places on earth, you can't run away from your own mind. These stories aren't meant to scare you, they're a wake-up call. The top reasons retirements abroad fail have nothing to do with money. They have everything to do with health and loneliness. You can be sitting on a pile of cash in the most beautiful place imaginable, but if your body hurts and your mind is tangled in anxiety and isolation, you're just poor, but in a prettier location. Your health, physical and mental, is the real currency of retirement. It's the currency that buys you the energy to explore ancient ruins, the mobility to hike hidden waterfalls, and the mental clarity to learn a new language, and the emotional resilience to build a new community from the ground up. Without that currency, you're basically bankrupt. This is why we have to shift our thinking from lifespan to health span. The goal isn't just to live longer, it's to have a more healthy, vibrant, and functional years. Retiring abroad, if you're unprepared, can be the single biggest threat to your health span. But if you are prepared, it can be the single greatest thing you've ever done in your life. The third section is about what solutions are there. So, how do we do it? How do we go from being vulnerable to being bulletproof? This isn't about luck, it's about having a deliberate, proactive strategy. This is your guide. We're going to build your personal fortress stone by stone based on 3 pillars: fortifying your body, fortifying your mind, and navigating your healthcare safety net. Pillar 1 is about fortifying your body, building your expat chassis. Think of your body as the vehicle that's going to carry you on this adventure. You wouldn't take a 20-year-old car on a cross-country road trip without a serious tune-up. So don't take your 60-year-old body to a new continent without the same care. First, pre-move health audit. This is a non-negotiable. Months before you even sniff a boarding pass, schedule a comprehensive head-to-toe physical with your current doctor. This is the time to be brutally honest with yourself and go to your doctor. Deal with every single nagging issue: the sore knee, the recurring indigestion, the borderline blood sugar levels. Don't assume it will magically get better in a new country. Stress will probably make it worse. Get digital and proper copies of your entire medical history, labs, scans, and a summary letter from your doctor about any chronic conditions. This file is your health passport. Secondly, nutrition in your new environment. One of the best parts of living abroad is the food, but the I'm on permanent vacation diet is a big trap. You have to become a student of your own food scene. Dive into the local fresh produce. Make strolling through the local markets a routine, but be mindful. Learn about new oils, different salt levels, and portion sizes. The Mediterranean diet is okay, as it focuses on fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. And critically, especially in warm climates, hydration is key. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Your body's needs will change and you have to change with them. Thirdly, movement is medicine. You don't have to become a gym rat. The beauty of many retirement spots is the chance to build movement into your day naturally. Ditch the car and walk. Join a local hiking club, try dance classes, go for a swim in the ocean. The key is consistency. Just 30 minutes of moderate activity a day can dramatically lower your risk of major diseases. Focus on things that keep your strength, flexibility and balance. Those are the cornerstones for a long and healthy life. And don't be scared to lift a few weights, because resistance is very, very good to help strengthen your muscles. And if you've got strong muscles, muscles help protect your joints. We all know about joint health in retirement. Fourthly, preventative care is your shield. Out of sight cannot be out of mind. You have to take your health just as seriously abroad as you did at home. This means regular checkups, screenings, and keeping up with dental and eye exams. One of your first jobs in a new country, even if you feel great, is to find a local primary care doctor. Don't wait for an emergency to learn about the system. Build a relationship with a doctor that you can trust. Finally, master your sleep. The stress and excitement of a move can wreck your sleep, and poor sleep messes with everything from your immune system to your mood. Set up a solid sleep routine. Make your bedroom a sanctuary, cool, dark and quiet. Cut back on heavy meals and screen time before bed. We all know how dangerous blue light is. Protecting your sleep is one of the most powerful things that you can do to build resilience. Definitely, and REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, deep sleep, is really, really important. Now, if you're finding this guide helpful and you agree that preparing your health is just as vital as preparing your finances, do me a quick favor and hit the like button. It really does help the algorithm, and this is a conversation that more people need to see. And if you have any health tips for an expat life that's worked for you, drop it in the comments below and help everyone else in this community, because as I've always said, we're in this together. Now, Pillar number 2 is fulfilling your mind. It's like your expat mental toolkit. If your body is the car, mind is the driver. And if the driver is overwhelmed, anxious, or completely lost, the best car in the world is going nowhere. Fortifying your mind is the most overlooked and most important part of a successful move. First, you have to really embrace the expat identity crisis, because back home you had an identity, but you haven't got one as an expat when you move to another country. You got to make one. You were a teacher or an engineer or a parent, and you were probably a pillar, certainly well known in the community. When you move abroad, a lot of that gets stripped away. It can be terrifying and leave you feeling empty. You have to consistently reframe this. It's not a loss, it's liberation. It's that rare chance that you've got in life to redefine yourself based not on what you did, but on what you want to be. This is your shot to become the artist, the writer, the volunteer, or the student that you never had time to be before. Secondly, and this is probably the most important strategy in this whole video, you have to proactively build a community. Friends are not going to magically show up at your door. You have to work for them actively and relentlessly. Loneliness is the default setting for a new expat. Connection takes effort. So here's your game plan. 1, go digital, then get physical. Join every relevant Facebook group for your area. Expats in Lisbon, Women of Valencia, Sacred Valley hikers, expats in the Philippines, Thailand, etc. Use sites like meetup.com, but don't stop there. The entire point of these online tools is to set up real world face-to-face meetings. I'm not talking about dating, I'm talking about building a social environment, building a hub. Secondly, if you can, learn a local language. Either the main language, like in the Philippines, Tagalog, or one of the local dialects in the area that you're living. The Philippines, there's hundreds. This is a master key. It's the bridge between being a tourist and being a resident. Signing up for a language class gives you instant structured social time and shows locals that you're making a real effort. Or you can start a new hobby, join a book club, a chess club, gardening, a sports team, like, the Hash Harriers, it's a running club with a drinking problem, riding motorcycles, going hiking, camping, whatever takes your fancy, guys. Shared interests are the soil where friendships grow. And also you can volunteer. Certainly if you're in a developing country where there's a lot of impoverished people, you can do some incredible good by volunteering. Offer your skills to a local school, animal shelter, a community project. It gives you a sense of purpose and plugs you into a local community in a way that really does make a difference, and it does matter. Third, have a plan for managing culture shock and bureaucratic stress. Because trust me, you will get frustrated. You have days where you just want to scream because the bank needs some form that you've never heard of. This isn't a sign that you're failing. It's kind of like a rite of passage. The trick is to expect these things and have ways to cope with the frustrations. Find another expat to be your venting buddy that you can moan to. Practice mindfulness or simple breathing exercises when you feel that the pressure's building up. Seriously, guys, it does help. And this is a big one. Celebrate your little victories. Getting your car registered is a major victory. Getting your internet working fast is fantastic. Any excuse to have a little celebration, go for it. Acknowledge how resilient you are. Fourthly, you have to balance your digital ties with real life presence. It's wonderful to stay connected with family back home through video calls, WhatsApp, etc. But it can become a crutch. You spend all of your time talking to people in your old life, but you've got no time to build new friends. Schedule your calls, but also schedule time just to be fully present in your new home. As an expat, go to local cafes, put your phone away and just sit and watch the world go by. Be there and be in the moment. Finally, know when to get some professional help. There's no shame in admitting you're struggling. Moving abroad can trigger or worsen things like anxiety or depression. Before you move, research English-speaking therapists in your target city. Look into online therapy services that can help you talk to professionals from your own culture. Taking care of your mental health is a sign of strength, not weakness. Now, pillar number 3 is about navigating healthcare abroad. It's like your healthcare safety net. Having a strong body and mind is your first line of defense, but you absolutely need a safety net for when things go wrong. Dealing with foreign healthcare is a huge source of anxiety, but we can definitely demystify it. First, you have to understand the two-system reality, public versus private. Most popular retirement communities have a two-tiered system. Public healthcare is kind of like a government-run system. To get access, you usually need to be legally resident and pay into the social security system. The quality can be fantastic, but you might face longer waits for specialist or emergency surgeries. And in some places in Asia, the only option is private healthcare. And this means private hospitals, clinics and doctors. The care is often faster with more amenities and more English-speaking staff. But you do pay for this either out of pocket or with private health insurance. Many expats use a hybrid approach, using a public system if they can for just general things and private healthcare for specific things. If you have the option, as I said, in a lot of countries in Asia, you don't have an option. You either have private healthcare or you die. It's that simple. International private medical insurance is the most complete and most expensive option. These plans are designed for expats and global coverage that have large networks and direct billing. For a retiree, especially with pre-existing conditions, this brings the most peace of mind. Local private insurance. If you're a resident, you can often get a local private health insurance plan, and this is usually cheaper than an international or global plan. But trust me, the vast majority of local plans that are written, local providers for health insurance, the small print is an absolute nightmare, and they can wiggle out of most things. And in a lot of Asian countries, as I've done in a previous video, it's based on a policyholder's history. So the more you claim with a particular insurer, the more they're going to bump up your future premiums to a point where you're not going to be able to afford the insurance again. So an international cover is really, in most instances, probably going to be your best bet. Some tips regarding healthcare when you're an expat is that you need to know your emergency numbers. Save the local emergency numbers in your phone. It's often 112 in Europe, but you double check. Map your care as well. Knowing where the nearest high quality hospitals and 24-hour clinics are really important, as are 24-hour pharmacies, so you can get prescriptions in a hurry. And learn the lingo. Even if you can't fully speak like Tagalog in the Philippines, or you can't speak Thai, know the lingo locally or in the local dialect for pain or chest or head or allergic or help, and write them down on a little card and just have it in your wallet so you can point at them if in case of emergency. I know it sounds really OTT, but trust me, in the case of emergency, a little card with those little words may well save your life. And don't forget to always carry medical cards or an ID of yourself, even if it's only copies, laminated copies, if that's acceptable in your country as an expat. People need to know who you are. Now, section 4 of this video is about inspiration, because I want to try and inspire you guys, and how you can go about forging a real high quality of life as an expat in your golden years. I know that what I've covered is a lot to cover and it sounds pretty intense, but this video isn't meant to scare you away from being an expat. It's not meant to scare you away from fulfilling your dream. It's the exact opposite. It's about giving you the tools to build a dream that's strong, resilient and real. It's about putting you back in the driving seat. Because here's the beautiful truth. When you put your health first, retiring abroad transforms from a risky gamble into one of the most powerful things that you can do to boost your overall well-being and maximize your health span. When you fortify your body, you're not just preventing illness, you're buying tickets to experience the world. You're buying the energy to say yes to that spontaneous trip, the strength to climb to the top of that temple for a view that will change you, the vitality to dance at a local festival until dawn. A healthy diet and an active life are often so much easier to achieve in the place that encourages you to be outside all year. Climate. When you fortify your mind, you're not just avoiding loneliness, you're building a richer, more diverse and stimulating life that you ever thought possible. You're forcing your brain to go learn a new language. You're challenging your own beliefs by engaging in a new culture. You're proving to yourself over and over that you are adaptable, courageous and capable of growth at any age. You get one mind and one body. They are the vessels for this incredible venture that you have worked so hard to earn. Taking care of them isn't a chore that you have to do so that you can retire abroad. Taking care of them is the adventure. It's the most fundamental and rewarding part of the whole journey. The goal is to wake up each morning in your new place as an expat without a knot of anxiety or a list of physical limitations, but with a feeling of energy, curiosity and gratitude. It's the feeling of having the strength both inside and out to embrace the challenges and soak in the beauty of your new world. Your best years are not in the rearview mirror. They're not a memory. They are the destination waiting for you to explore. Prepare your mind, prepare your body, and go live them. Thank you for sticking with me for this deep dive into what I truly believe is the most important part of any retirement plan. It's a conversation that we don't have nearly often enough, but it's the one that can make or break everything. If this guide gave you a new perspective, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. In Naked Expat, I believe that the biggest challenges of expat life are simply the ones we fail to prepare for. Fail to plan, plan to fail. How many times have I said that already? So let's prepare together. Now, I want to hear from you. Leave comments in the comment section below with the number one thing that you're going to do starting today to fortify your health and your move abroad. Are you going to schedule a health audit, download a language app, maybe learn a new language, start researching health insurance? Sharing your goal is the first step to making it happen. I read all my comments. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy.